Hey, howdy, and a big welcome back to Clem Hawks, folks. I'm Yak, ready to take you through today's offering when it comes to the NHL rumors of the day. And let me tell you, we could talk about John Klingberg again, but we'll leave that to Gillies TV. He seems pretty gung ho about that. However, today released on Sportsnet.ca. Oh, baby, there was an article today talking about Nazem Kadri and where his top five landing spots, more than likely by common sense at this point, are. Right? And what I mean by common sense, simply put, right? Think about Johnny Gaudreau when he was trying to sign a contract. New Jersey, Philadelphia, like places that typically would 100% make sense for a guy like that. So, of course, you can still go off the beaten path and sign with Columbus if you're Johnny Gaudreau. But for Nazem Kadri, we're going to talk about a couple of teams here that I think really would benefit from having him, and obviously just teams that hit closer to the audience we have here on Clem Hawks. So, folks, I'm Yak. Take the next 5-10 minutes, if you would, to please consider subscribing to the channel because, hey, you know what? We've been doing this pretty relatively steady for the past 2.5 weeks, and we've been having a blast doing it and having a blast having you along for it. The comments have been absolute gold, seeing everybody's opinions ranging from one side to the other. But I don't want to waste any more time. Take one last drink. By the way, not sponsored by Tim Hortons. And we're going to get right to it. So Nazem Kadri to the Calgary Flames. Nazem Kadri to the Boston Bruins. Nazem Kadri to the Minnesota Wild. You see what I mean? There's five teams total mentioned in the Sportsnet.ca article by Sunny Sachadeva, but it's one of those things. I could mention all five, and realistically, I will right now just for the sake of argument. So it's the Islanders and Detroit Red Wings as well. That rounds out your five, but I want to focus specifically on the three I mentioned off the top: the Islanders, the Bruins, and the Calgary Flames. Why? Because this is where it's going to get good. For the Flames, they currently have $9.3 million in cap space. Here's the thing about Nazem Kadri. He came into free agency looking to be one of the highest paid free agents out there just based on the resume he put up this season. However, the market has slowly over time, since 2016 when all those ridiculous contracts were signed, has figured out maybe that is not the best contract to sign day one. So all of a sudden now Kadri's sitting out here and looking more realistic, realism kind of deal at it and saying, you know what, I want a deal that's going to benefit both me and the team, allow me to potentially repeat or win a Stanley Cup within the duration of the contract, and also allow the team to build around me to some degree. And for the Calgary Flames, that's not necessarily true because you look at what they've done already this offseason, and the team is built, right? For the Calgary Flames, they got that 9.5 roughish number of cap space left, but they've got Huberdeau, Backlund, Lucic, Coleman, Lindholm, Toffoli, Dubé, Rooney, Lewis, and Mangiapane as an RFA. So yes, you still have to find a way to add the cap of Mangiapane and make it work, and obviously Oliver Shillington too. But for the Flames, there's a lot of ways you can go about this to make it happen, and this is kind of the tricky part about it too for Nazem Kadri, is he's got to make a team make a deal for him. Not necessarily sign him, but make a deal happen prior to signing him in most cases here. And then you talk about the Boston Bruins, who have $4.7 million in cap space. Is that enough to get something going here? Are we going to see another Oliver Bjorkstrand kind of trade that just absolutely destroys the value of a player simply because they need to clear cap space? Well, for the Bruins, you don't have Patrice Bergeron signed, but you got Pastrnak, Marchand, Hall, Coyle, DeBrusk, Foligno, Smith, Nosek, Wagner, Frederick, Steen, and Zaka, who is an RFA. So again, I mean, you look at that article and it's really easy to say, oh, these would be some great landing spots for Nazem Kadri. Man, these teams really fit the profile of what Nazem Kadri would bring to a team. However, right, the cap space instantly an issue with the first two out of three that we're going to talk about. But end of the day, too, you talk about these teams here towards the bottom that have $25 million in the Ducks, $23 million in Arizona, $19 million in Buffalo. You talk about Dallas with 11. You talk about the other team we're talking about, the New York Islanders with 11. You've got two other teams, the Blackhawks and Detroit Red Wings with $10 million in cap, and you talk about the rest of the free agent crop. At some point, the prices are going to start very much so drying up here for those guys, and that's where these teams, if another team wants to make a move, are going to benefit heavily, or these teams, if they want to make the move, are going to be able to go out there and offer a little bit more than anyone else and be able to get the job done on signing who they want onto their team. So that's the interesting part here, right? For the Islanders, they've got that 11 million number in cap space. I think that is probably the team that makes the most sense just based on cap space for Nazem Kadri, even if he is only demanding 6-7 million. They've got Barzal, Anders Lee, Brock Nelson, Josh Bailey, Jean-Gabriel Pajot, Kyle Palmieri, Anthony Beauvillier, Casey Cizikas, Cal Clutterbuck, Matt Martin. You've got Ross Johnston, Olivier Wallstrom, Zach Parise, and of course Kiefer Bellows, who is an RFA. And then on the back end, you got quite a team as well. Romanov and Dobson, Sebastian Aho, Scott Mayfield, Adam Pelech, and Ryan Pollock. So you got still some guys that could really come out and be part of your team moving forward. However, right, it's like one of those situations. In case of Matthew Barzal, you got to re-sign him at some point here this season or let him walk. So is that one of those scenarios where maybe Nazem Kadri is the replacement for Matt Barzal when it comes to the New York Islanders? Again, you see I'm spending a lot of time on the Islanders. I think that's where it makes most sense. They've been linked to trying to get some big name free agents this offseason, and I don't see why they wouldn't try to go out and get a guy like Kadri and really make it happen. So folks, I'm Yak. This is Clem Hawks. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below because this is the biggest free agent name left in the pool at this point for everybody to try and sign. And so Nazem Kadri, is he headed to the Flames? Is he headed to the Bruins? Is he headed to the Islanders? Nothing for sure, but those are the ones that make the most sense at current. So folks, I'm Yak, up on out of here.